Hi, how are you, Martin?
I am fine. How are you, Andres?
I'm very fine. Let me tell you. I'm very happy to do this first episode in English for our podcast. The first of many. The first that you will the first that you will hear and see, not the first that I record. But I wanted to have to feature as many people as I can with side projects and stuff that somehow is related to Monero, but can open up what people hear about when they think they are listening to a Monero podcast. So
This show is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet is an open source wallet that provides you with the keys so you can custody your own funds. With support for Monero, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more. Receive, send, and exchange your coins with safety and comfort from within the app. Visit cakewallet.com and remember, peace of mind, piece of cake. This show is sponsored by Local Monero. Local Monero is the safest way to buy or sell Monero with your local currency, without compromising your privacy. Trades are peer-to-peer, and Local Monero protects the seller's funds until the exchange is successful. Visit localmonero.co or download its mobile app available on iOS and Android.
so welcome, Martin. I don't know how much you want to tell about yourself. Who you are, where you come from, whatever, what you do.
Yeah, I'm from Germany, but I've lived in many different countries, and I've actually been like a digital nomad since I'm 18. I'm 26 now, and the last 2 years I've just been traveling in Southeast Asia and freelancing, doing some web projects and working on open source software when I have some spare time.
Nice. So wait, 8 years of digital nomad.
But there was a 2.5 year break in between. But yeah.
Well, it's a lot of time. Anyway, so yeah, you see when I tell you that sometimes the interview takes longer than we imagine. As a side note, wait, how's been your experience as a digital nomad so far?
Yeah, so I only started freelancing like 2 years ago. When I initially started traveling, it was more like trying to understand what I want to do in life, finding meaning, and I was just living in different communities. I spent 1 year in South Portugal in the countryside. I was just working at like a German family,
Beautiful.
doing some construction work. Just a wild life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I was asking because it gets a lot of press lately, the whole digital nomad thing. People, you hear from both sides of the experience, right? So people, it's like, yeah, I'm on my laptop in the beach, under the sun, coding, and the other guy says, that's not very comfortable. You cannot see shit. It gets sun everywhere. It's not so glorious. So I wanted to get your perspective on how is it that to live in different countries and work.
Well, you're not gonna be working directly on the beach, but I did have a great experience of like I live like I'm more of a low budget traveler, so I was like I found like a cheap place in Malaysia in front of a beach, and I stayed there for 3 months, just like with a sea in view and no tourists, just like a private place, and it was so beautiful. Great place to focus.
Yeah, for sure. So I will tell people later how did I came to you actually. How did we meet? But tell me, what's your Monero story so far? I mean, how long have you been? Know about Monero? How did you actually get to it? You were into crypto before. Monero was your first thing.
Yeah, I've been interested in cryptocurrency for a long time, and it's becoming more and more clear to me that as the world is becoming more digitalized and we are becoming more surveilled, we need an escape route. We need a place where we can transact, preferably anonymously. Like Bitcoin already gives you some freedom that you can have custody over your funds and it's not controlled by a bank. but with all the high transaction fees and the privacy, the transparency of a Bitcoin blockchain, it's not a solution for the masses. And Monero seems to solve those exact issues. So it's a better version of a digital currency that we can use globally without an issue. And as a freelancer, I already make money with cryptocurrency many times. I have a client who needs me to do this or this. And so I already experienced this alternative marketplace. And okay, it's some kind of shitcoin in my opinion, but I can easily convert it to Monero, and then I have something of value for me.
I won't ask you to name names. I mean, I won't ask for the list of coins that are shitcoins on your book, unless you want to.
Oh, for me, anything like I respect technological innovation in cryptocurrency space, but in the end, if it's not going to be private, it is going to be used against you in the future. If it's like, that's my personal opinion.
Yes.
So if I want to have my privacy, okay, I can just make a new wallet. I can get my money there, but then I got to change it to Monero, so I have some privacy, basically.
It's like Rome, you know. All roads lead to Monero somehow. If you want to maintain your freedom, basically, because privacy freedom is a byproduct of privacy. The way that I see it.
Exactly.
It's my point. It's my opinion as well. I don't think myself as a Monero maxi. I just think it's the best solution that we have right now to use it as money. I think there is a lot of other uses for blockchain technology, so to speak, or even I'm not even against NFTs, for example, which is like super contentious. I just don't think it's money or works as money. So it's like, okay, maybe some things you really want to show the world that you actually have them, and it's a matter of pride to you to show your collection of images digitally. I don't have an issue with that, and things should be as fast, as cheap as possible. As convenient. UX is a big thing for me, especially for adoption. So of course there is a lot of other chains or coins or whatever, but when it gets to the settlement layer and we are talking about money and actually people's earnings and the way that people live after what they earn, they want to use it in a free way. Right now I don't see a better choice than Monero. So have you? I don't know the answer to that, so maybe it's not. So have you participated in the Monero community somehow before? I mean, are you
actually no?
Yeah, okay.
It's actually my
just
first
a user.
time. Yeah, I'm just a user. I mean, I'm also invested in other privacy coins, and like I said, like I'm passionate about all kind of decentralized technologies, and I think cryptocurrency in general has many use cases of decentralizing the web, the digital space. Like there's still many layers that we have to overcome. Like ECAN is one example of a centralized domain name system that can be decentralized with blockchain technologies. Then we have Handshake and other protocols that are trying to solve that issue. And like, I think it's great. It's great that we have these options and people are working towards that. And I'm not going to say like, oh, this is the only cryptocurrency that is people should invest in. I think people are solving different issues and are focused on different problems. And if your main concern is privacy, then Monero is going to be a safe choice. But you might also be more experimental. You want to look at something that even has a more efficient blockchain size with implementing Mimblewimble on top of other privacy layers like Veeam does, Veeam Privacy Coin. But, you know, like all these coins have different histories, different problems. And in the end, like, you never know which one is going to get popular, which one is going to run out of funds. So Monero is a safe choice because it already has this very stable core team and a community.
And it's kind of like the the big fish in a very small pond, so to speak.
Exactly.
Of privacy coins. Which other projects are you interested in, like in privacy coins that you mentioned, or for which reasons? I mean, what do you like about these other projects?
For a while, I was interested in Beam Privacy Coin. I liked the Mimblewimble implementation, and they were doing a lot of development, but I think they're trying to do too many things, and they just don't have enough funds to implement them well enough. So I don't know about the future of a project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know Beam, I mean, what are the pros of Beam against the way that Monero works right today, for example?
So with
faster.
with Mimblewimble implementation, you actually don't need to store transactions on the blockchain. If you have two live wallets, you can just update the balance of the wallets, and it drastically reduces the blockchain size. So you can have much faster transactions and keep the blockchain minimal. That's one of the innovations.
Perfect. But you still use nodes to sync the blockchain?
Yes.
Or it's just keep the balance between different wallets and that's all?
The blockchain keeps the wallet balances, but it doesn't keep track of the transactions.
All the transactions. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Get it. So you were talking about decentralization. Let's do it the other way around. There is a project that you do that I find it very interesting, and it's not the one that you think I'm going to ask you about now. Let's do it the other way around. The Ukuvota app.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's borderline cryptocurrency. I mean, it's basically how to reach consensus between some people that don't know each other. So tell me about that. Why, basically, what it is, and why did you want to create that?
So Ukuvota was originally created when I was living in a community, and they were using a modified score voting system to find a consensus in the group. And I just basically made this app for them back then. And like, I mean, that was like many years ago, and like, I wasn't able to fully let it go. I feel like some people find use in it, so I am still developing it. I'm actually thinking of rebranding it to Evotico, since Ukuvota is such a unique name. It's hard to find for people. And Evoti is like electronic voting corporation, so Evotico might be better for marketing purposes.
Yes. We still need, we are idealists, but we still need a bit of marketing somehow. Yes. Otherwise, people don't even find out about stuff. Well, that's just the thing that we are trying to solve a bit with our little talk today. So let's hope more people find the project.
Thank you so much for reaching out.
Yeah, how does it work, basically?
So basically,
pitch me the former Ukuvota.
So basically, if you have a topic question, for example, who should lead our project, or we can do a silly one. What pizza should we order? We can only order one pizza in the group. That's a topic question.
That's silly until someone suggests that we put pineapple on pizzas, and then a whole civil war can start from that.
Exactly.
I am on the anti pineapple team. I don't want to see anything sweet on a pizza. To me, it's only salty stuff.
So right, when you got your topic question that you're trying to solve in a group, you can generate a link that you can share with people, and everyone can add a proposal. So I can say I want a Hawaiian pizza. You can say margarita or pepperoni pizza, and you can list all the suggestions, and after the time has run out, we can vote with emojis based on each proposal, how much you dislike it and how much you like it. And in the end, you just get the best score, the one that people hated the least. And another unique feature about this score voting application is that you can actually modify the weighting of the negative votes. So if you say that, like, in your group, you prioritize resistance, you prioritize people's dislikes over their likes, you can actually weight it times 3 or even times infinity. So you just see this positive votes, but you actually ignore it in the final score. And basically, systemic consensus would only measure the resistance. If you only measure the resistance in the proposals, that's actually called systemic consensus. And my friend modified this process and said it might be useful to also see what people actually like. And this is where our score voting application came into the community. So,
what was the characteristics of the community? I mean, if you can tell us about it. What was the characteristic of the community that you were in that needed this kind of solutions that you didn't find anywhere else?
It was like a community living experiment. We were invested in dumpster diving, in like food saving, and people would be making cooperations with supermarkets to save expired food and redistribute this. But yeah, like mainly this process was used in voting about our living conditions because we were in a communal living space, and there were many.
So you have very few resources that you need to prioritize in a way that at least the majority of people are okay with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. So that's very interesting because the closest that I've used to what you're describing is the I don't remember. I think it's in a university, the condensed voting website, which has been used in the Monero community a couple of times. So basically, if you have to vote for candidates for specific positions and stuff like that, so I wish actual voting in my country worked like that, when you can basically vote your preferences and then you wait, so you don't have so many extremes of candidates. It's like one way to another. So that's my personal opinion. I wish the real world, so to speak, work in such a voting system when you can very much take into account the preferences, the least worst candidate for the most people possible. And if you have like a very, very strong opinion on which one you don't like, that the system takes that into account. So that would be basically the difference between what I've used and what you're describing. I mean, I understand two differences. Sorry, one, that your system incorporates. It's not top down in the sense that you have to pre know all the options. You can set it up so you have like a period where people can submit options themselves, right?
Yes.
Yes. You can you do it the other way around as well? I mean, can you make a new poll where you bring you put all the choices beforehand?
Okay. I have two modes in the application. One is where you have a proposal and voting phase, and the other one is just the voting phase, and you already list over proposals beforehand.
That's great. And then you, as an administrator, you can manage all the settings about how much you want to weight everything, basically.
Exactly. And I'm working on a. Sorry.
We are gonna use that. We are gonna use that. Yes.
That's awesome.
At least I will be using that. Yes.
That's so good to hear. Like, if people use my application, I'm more motivated to develop it as well. So it's good to hear this feedback. In the new version, I'm actually working on streamlining the entire process to make it much more simple, and also to make it work with HTML only. Because I think a lot of privacy-focused people also disable JavaScript. So that's like one of the newest features that is coming to Evotico now, Evotico.co, which is... I will be migrating the data from Ukuvota to the new application. It's going to work the same. It's going to work with HTML only. And I'm also thinking about adding IPFS snapshots. So because I don't like storing data, I hate storing data. I don't want to have the data. So one of the ideas is to actually encrypt the data and store it on IPFS and have like IPFS snapshots when you have the results of the scores. So you cannot modify it.
Perfect.
You have it immutable, and you can share this node. You can sync it on your computer and make sure that the data is safe, and I don't just delete the database or something.
Yeah. And the snapshots I mean, because you have like the start of the voting process and the deadline, right? Is there a way that you can see different snapshots in time of what was the voting data on one specific moment? Because what I'm thinking is that sometimes what I see abusing in online voting is that, okay, we are all friends, we start voting on an issue, especially in crypto, and then suddenly one of the parties doesn't like how the voting is going, and then suddenly at the very end of the voting deadline or in some moment in time, you see a spike where people just were losing and gather either friends or fake accounts or whatever just to move the poll. So that sometimes the way that you can weed those out is that if you see, well, okay, this was the state of our voting until this moment, and then we had like 200 new people voting just in the same way, and people, right? We don't know who they are, and then you see things being normal again. So you have some way of discerning that, or it's just not technically possible?
Currently, you don't actually see the results until the voting phase is over. So, yeah, that's one thing. But
even if you're the admin of the whole thing,
even the admin has no access to it. As far as I would have to check the logic again. I need to make sure that it's really private and secure. Like the Ukuvota app is quite old. Perfect. And I'm re-implementing
it sounds super good. It sounds super good. Yeah.
Awesome.
It sounds super good because you cannot even make the assumption that the admin is somehow has specific information. I mean, inside information.
So yeah, I mean, I would be really happy to work with you on this as well. If you're interested in this project and you have specific needs, you can write me, and I would love to implement specific features for the Monero community.
Awesome. And that brings us to your other project,
Inner Breeze,
that made us that inner breeze that we are doing all the way around to how do we meet each other. So what's inner breeze?
So basically,
wait, just to wrap the whole the other project. It's only a web app, right? You don't have like a mobile version of the voting system.
Not yet. I am planning to make a APK version for Android with the new one.
Because let me give you like live feedback about the whole thing. It may look like it's super trivial or not necessary to have like a cell phone, like a mobile version of the whole system, but it would be very fun, and I guess it would get way more traction if you can, not for the important stuff, because for the important stuff you will always get a web version, you will set up everything properly, but for stupid stuff and to get some adoption, maybe if you have like an app on your phone that you can just say, let's decide the best pizza ever, and you do it in a private way and nobody can see what everybody voted. And you can basically create the whole thing in 2 minutes and share a link that everybody can use on their phone. That would get people interested in the whole system. And then eventually, I mean, that's the way that I see these systems sometimes work, right? You start by, this is like a fun thing to do, maybe even at a party with friends. Let's vote everybody on the best best records of the last 10 years, or best movies or whatever, and so we don't fight between each other. We can vote anonymously, but then when you get used to the tool, basically you start to, when you keep living, luckily, hopefully, you start to think, yeah, well, maybe we can use the thing that we use for the pizzas for this building this council meeting. It could be useful. And then you get from there, and then another user, one of your pals on your local community maybe has like another job and an important organization, and then they say, we can use this for our organization, and then it creeps up. I mean, I think even the way that we met each other works a bit like that, when it looks like it has nothing to do with anything, and eventually we are talking about decentralized online consensus between private individuals. But life works that way, you know? It's funny.
Exactly.
So it's only a web version for now. You're going to make a mobile version. Say again the domain.
All I need is a sponsor, and I will make it in January. I'll finish the APK. But right now I still have to do.
I don't know about sponsors, but what you can do is ask for donations about the whole thing.
Yeah, would be good. What do you suggest?
We'll see what we can do about it.
Okay.
Sorry. Here you are. Okay. So, and the last thing is that the system is set up in a way that you will only, I mean, if you get the thing working on IPS, it would be great, and decentralized as much as possible. Of course, it's open source, right? Because it's on GitHub. Is there a way for people to self-host the solution?
Yes, Ukuvota at the current state is fully self-hostable. You can just git pull it and run it on your own web server. And I want to keep that in the new version as well, the possibility to not use IPFS at all if you don't want, and to just keep the data locally.
Great. So yeah, now talk about inner breeze. We are moving into the realm.
Yeah, so Inner Breeze is just a simple open source meditation app based on the Wim Hof breathing method. And I first discovered this breathing method when I was back in Portugal, like in 2018. And I really liked it. I would do it next to the lake and go for a swim. And I've used the different applications from the Play Store and our Android apps. But, you know, I always love having an open source alternative to any application that I have, because then it feels like I actually own it. Otherwise, it's like I don't really have access. I can't modify something if I don't like something. So if I like this feeling of like, oh, I own something, let me have an open source version of it. And I couldn't find one that satisfied my needs.
Sorry, but isn't it weird? Because I feel the same way. Because on a sense, I mean, I found the app on F-Droid. That's how I met you, by searching on F-Droid. But isn't it weird that I have the same sense about open source software? And I get why we get that feeling of actually owning the app. Because the first thing that you notice is that you are not basically an advertisement product yourself. But it's weird because at the same time, usually with open source projects, unless they're maintained by just one guy, which is maybe the case, it's like your own even less than if you have bought the project. It's super collaborative. That's what I mean. So it's owned by you feel like you own the thing, but at the same time, it's like nobody owns it. Basically, the moment that it's born, somehow.
It becomes more permanent. It's a more sustainable development process for humanity. That's how I see everything. Like, if a company just focuses on the proprietary future, it's always limiting this product to other people that might need it more. And it's just like, if you want to contribute to humanity and give people tools to innovate, to collaborate, be more free, it has to be open source. That's the only way.
Yeah, totally. So you tell us about a bit about what it does, but how you reach the need to make the Inner Breeze app, but the inner it was Inner Breeze, right? Yes, I have to switch it on my head, so it's not called like the other one. So
the other one is trademarked, so I can't use that.
Yes, yes, I know. I noticed. The other one is the one, but this is an app for the Wim Hof method, right? That I myself been practicing on and off for I don't know. Well, I tell you, it's almost like 5 years now. It's very weird. So you as well, I assume. You want to tell a bit about what the fuck it is, the Wim Hof method, how it works, and why people do it?
So the breathing method is very simple. You are just breathing in and out 30 times in a rather fast pace. And on the last out breath, you hold your breath and you just see how long you can hold it. Afterwards, you breathe in for 15 seconds, and then you can repeat the process. When I do it, like I used to, when I was in Malaysia, I would do it like 8 rounds a night. Every night I would go to the beach and I would just do 8 rounds of that. And afterwards I would just feel so much peace inside me. Whatever happened before, I might get angry, I might have had problems with my client, normal stress. Afterwards I would just feel so relaxed and peaceful and in harmony with our nature, with our body, with the sand, with the beach, So like there's a thing about meditation and this breathing method, it can really help you reunite with our bodies and to just stop worrying about something, stop thinking about stuff.
It's funny because it's so personal. On one side, as a side note, I agree with you that it's a practice that you can do very easily, and that actually you are meditating. Which is something that we all know from the most spiritual of all texts that you want to search to the most scientific and new research that you want to search as well. Is super good. I mean, meditation is super good. We all know it, but it's also very hard to practice, especially at the beginning, because you don't know if you are actually meditating or not, and if you're doing it right or wrong, which is basically not a thing that actually exists, meditating wrong. But just do it, and you will get better at it. But some people really struggle with the whole concept of just laying still and let your thoughts go by, or focus. If it's more like mindfulness, focus on the now, focus on your senses, focus on the feelings that you get from your own body. So this feels like a bit of a hack in a way, because you are kind of focusing in some other thing, some other aspect, and eventually you end up having many minutes of meditation without even realizing it. So I like that aspect of the method. And I was thinking before our talk that I think that the person that made it very popular in the last years is Wim Hof, and I think he's kind of a bit of that breathing Satoshi, because he didn't invent most of the parts of the method. He didn't invent it at all. It's just like Tibetan breathing with a bit of this, with a bit of that, with a bit of cold exposure as well, with a bit of everything, but managed to bring it up together into a bigger thing or a thing that at least works easier for most people, that got a lot of adoption to it. And I think it's also very optimized because it brings, in my experience at least, it brings results very fast. Or you can notice, you can read very fast. The other thing is that it's funny because I always did it the other way around than you. Always in the mornings, never in the nights. And of course, it relaxes you. But on the other side, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel way more focused and awake.
Yeah.
I feel relaxed. Of course, it relaxes you, but at the same time, I feel way more awake than if I don't do it. So it moves away all that morning fog of I have to wake up again and do stuff. So it's like, okay, I'm at peace, I'm at rest. Let's bring it on, right? So that's the feeling, and the way that it works is basically you are over breathing for a moment, for a while, so to speak. The trick, if the scientists out there want to know, is that basically you're not getting extra oxygen, you're just lowering your carbon dioxide on your body, which is the thing that triggers your reflex to breathe, basically. So it's not that you have extra oxygen to stay more time without breathing. It's just that you're actually biohacking your body in a way. So the response to the need to breathe doesn't come as soon as it would otherwise. So that's how you can basically stay longer without breathing. And that's where you get into the scientific yet not so scientific aspects of because it alkalizes the blood or whatever, but the only thing that I can tell you is that it actually works and feels really, really good. I had the experience once of doing it in a group, which is really something that was really surprising to me, the way that it felt, because I always practice it by myself. And the app helps you a lot with that, because many times I've been very close to ask. I don't actually know anything about coding. I'm just an illustrator by trade. So I'm about to ask people that I know that actually know how to code apps, can you please just do this little app for me? Because all of the solutions that I found were either like very expensive or proprietary, or have some quick that they are just not useful to me. For example, I don't know. I think it's very useful that you have the option to have the breathing cue, so you can follow the rhythm, so you don't get like out of sync somehow. It's also useful to have the number of the breaths, the inhales that you want to do, so you don't have to count them with your head and be conscious about that thing. So the less that you have to keep in mind or count, the better for me, because you can just relax. And then the other thing that was like a stress point to me is that, okay, do I have to pay attention how long I'm going? Do I want to take notes on the side for that? I have two apps, one app to make a timer and one app to. That doesn't matter. That doesn't happen with your app, which I think is great. So finally, I found one that works for me, and I found it on F-Droid. And the cherry on top of the whole thing is that when I look, okay, how do I get in contact with this guy just to say thank you? Basically, I found that you have a donation page, and right at the top of the donation page, above everything else, you have a Monero donation.
Preferred payment, so, yes.
Preferred payment Monero, which is not something that you usually find. Actually, I have at this moment many donations that I've done to little apps that I use, especially from Android, and believe it or not, most developers that I found is like either don't know it or say I don't, or well, maybe you can send it to me personally, but I'm not gonna add the Monero options. I don't really care, or I don't like cryptocurrencies or whatever. So it's like a bias that we have in crypto land, especially in Monero land, that we think, if it's in F-Droid, it's basically a crypto a crypto related app and has nothing to do with it. So it was a great thing. So I encourage everyone to just try to learn more about the whole thing. Of course, I will leave links below this episode to everything that we are talked, not only to the apps but also to what we are talking about. So this not get turns into a well-being episode. but I don't mind. You can talk about this. But yeah, you can find your apps basically on GitHub, or what is your main domain?
I'm just putting it into this organization nowx.io. That's where you can find the voting app and the breathing app for now.
Awesome. And if you actually do, and I encourage you to do so, if you try the app and if you try it at least once, or look up a YouTube video how to do it, and then you will understand it even better. But the app has a tutorial, which I think is super nice that you have that for newcomers. Leave us a comment and how it was, what do you feel, if you like it. Especially weird the first times, then you get a bit used to it, but especially weird what you feel on the first times. So I encourage everyone to explore and this is a nice message to close the year and to start a new one. Get into any practice that it makes you feel better. Come on. Put it on your bucket list, on your try something different, by the God of love. So how can people help you? Or besides, actually, we know that we know now that you accept donations in Monero, right? What else can people help you with?
Feedback, just testing my applications, reporting any bugs. I got a Telegram group that people are welcome to join and just ask them questions or whatever, or even just share what you're doing. I'm always happy to hear random guys trying to get motivated about exercise or anything, really. We're all in this together. We're all in this world together, and we want to improve, So let's encourage each other.
Normal people, let's call it users, really underestimate until you are on the other side of the equation. Because I am a part of the Monero development team, one of the wallets, Monero wallets for mobile, and one of the things that until you are on the other side you don't notice, or you're not paying attention, is how valuable feedback is, especially on apps that respect your privacy. We don't know what you're doing, how many of you are out there, basically, how you're using it, what's your pain points. So, and it makes, we don't make a lot of money. We don't make money at all sometimes. It helps to keep, if you like something that someone is doing, please give feedback. Just say, I like your app. Keep doing it.
Write something, exactly. Like for example, Ukuvota, I thought it's dead because I didn't hear anything from anyone for 2 years, and just recently someone messaged me about it. Oh, something broke. Can you help us? And it's like, oh my god, people are still using it. I thought it's dead. And people, the open source developers need to get feedback. Just say thank you. Just say something. Yes. So I know, people still want this, still want to have features.
I have so many little tiny F-Droid apps that are super useful to me. That it's like me. If I knew how to code, it's something that I would do on a week that I said, I had enough. I just need whatever. A timer, just a little that is like this and have to spin like that. I mean, it's just easy. But someone has to maintain it on the other side. Android, for example, keeps changing and keeps requiring you to update stuff, otherwise it gets demoted and it doesn't work with the new Android 15, 14, whatever it is. So and it's time. It's time that someone is giving to you. So value that time and give. I'm not talking even about money. Give some of that time back. It takes you like actual seconds. Reach the developers and say thank you. Give ideas, even if it's just to complain.
Yeah, exactly.
You change the colors.
Welcome.
I don't like this. This is shit. Bring it back. And then suddenly you know that it's someone in the actually opposite part of the world using your app for 4 years without saying anything at all.
Yes.
That's the part that I love about the internet. Man, it's so good. So, any last thoughts that you want to... let's take this opportunity. If something that you want to say about, for example, to the Monero community as a whole, in general, something that you like, something that you don't like about Monero, the way that it is right now. What do you think that with people that are actually developing in Monero? Let's do it the other way, because now we were talking about people giving you feedback. So let's take this opportunity to give feedback to people actually coding Monero stuff. So what do you think it could be improved from your user perspective?
I actually don't know. Like, I think it
works.
Right. It works. It works for my purposes. I mean, I think generally, if it becomes more private and faster transactions or smaller blockchain, but also like future improvements that I'm sure will come anyway at some point. But yeah, like I don't have anything.
People are working on that.
Really.
Yes,
exactly.
People that know how to do it are working on that. Yes, we're just around floating. First.
But I guess like one thing I would like to say, if someone has a job for me, I would be interested in working even with Monero or something like this. I'm not sure if I'm any use for actually working on blockchains, but if there's any applications, people who are hiring, I would be very happy to work for Monero.
Perfect.
Or anything else.
That's great. Yeah, you have we can talk after the episode, but you have, I will tell you out loud so people know it. The Monero community has several ways of, I say community, but it's not like a super concentrated thing. It's that people have come with solutions to finance different stuff, right? In the Monero community, basically the core of development can be done on a CCS, which is a public funding system. You could, for example, make a post on GitHub about a project that you want to do, and people can either take it or not, and then you can fund it or not, depending on your milestones. That's usually for Monero related stuff. But also someone, I don't remember the name of the user right now, set up basically a Kickstarter based on Monero. So you can have other projects that doesn't have anything to do with Monero, or do whatever you want. But it's public and you can see all the projects that are open and people can fund your thing, your initiative. That way people have funded, I don't know, T-shirts for a local football club in Argentina, to wireless antennas for Q hours for something, or somebody has to pay for some medical bills, or someone has a little project that is not actually coding or whatever. You can basically put, I want to develop a voting app for whatever, and I want that amount of money, and you can put it in there. And there's also a directory which is called, I think there are more than one, but the one that I think is more useful right now is monerica.com, I think it is, which basically lists all businesses, and they list businesses, things that you can buy, things that you can that are for sale in Monero. You can even put your services, I mean, web development services or whatever. It's like yellow pages of people that actually take Monero for work. So there are several venues that people start knowing each other. So yeah, I'd encourage you to get more in
Monerica.com. This one.
Yeah.
I
think so. So yeah, we'll be in touch.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Martin, your conversation.
Thank you, Andre. It was amazing. Amazing conversation.
And again, whatever you have, some news to share or some stuff that, especially I think the voting system is going to be very interesting for people in the community, because we are always in the lookout for decentralized, privacy respecting solutions to these kind of problems. Consensus, funding, it's all always very related. So thank you again, and thank you for the work that you do, because I'm actually a user. Let's do what I preach. Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
This episode was sponsored by Local Monero, the safest way to buy and sell Monero with your local currency, peer-to-peer. This episode was sponsored by Cake Wallet, an open source wallet for Monero, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more. Café Monero makes sense if you're there, listening. Every tip you send, like button you click, sharing you do, or comment you leave, makes this world a better place. In the name of the Crypto Illuminati Lodge, thank you very much.